just a couple of ideas that we're going to dive into about who to co-market with. We talk a lot about integration partners to co-market with, but you can also think about co-marketing with influencers, thought leaders in your industry, right? Not necessarily people who you have an integration with or who even have another ISV, but people who have the audience that you're looking at getting in front of. Those SIs or businesses in your industry with similar ICP, but they're non-competing. So you're not selling them the same thing, but you're selling to the same people. Cloud marketplaces, obviously those big hyperscalers, big names, and then strategic partners as well. This is just scratching the surface of who you can co-market with and start to get your wheels turning. But keep these in mind and don't narrow your focus on who it is that you want to be co-marketing with.
Agreed. And that's why we provided a little bit of a checklist here. Kelsey, if you want to jump in, but some things to think about as you prioritize, because all of those folks you talked about are great, but most partner teams are a little small and don't have the resources to maybe choose every one of those types of partners.
Yeah, absolutely. The key to not driving yourself insane at any job in any company these days is prioritization, right? So what we recommend in terms of really choosing the right partners to make this effort with is I always do this, take a list of every single possible company, partner, influencer, whatever you can think of that might have a good overlap, and then start to filter them down, right? Think about what is the goal that you actually want to achieve through this co-marketing effort, and write that down. What is the audience that you want to get in front of? And then what resources do you have internally, whether it's time or whether it's content that you already have developed? And then identify, like, cross compare that with the entire list that you've created and really tell yourself, right? Who are the quick win partners? Who are those people that are going to say yes really quickly? You've already built the relationship. You know that you can get something out quickly and you can test out that audience. Who are the big players? Who are the people that it might take you a little bit longer to get in front of them and to build that relationship and to plan that co-marketing effort, but the return is going to be way more significant. And write those down, and so that you can start to get those quick wins in the door to show your leadership that you are doing the right things, but then you're also queuing up these huge strategic efforts. And then one of the most important things I always like to mention is, who should you not be working with? Who doesn't care about you, or isn't going to send you the right kinds of leads, or is going to be too much work for the outcome, even though they seemed like a good idea in the first place. And always make sure to make a list of those people. Those might, and those companies, those might be people that you come back around to, right? That because things change in the future, but be willing to say no and be willing to not put the effort in for the partners that the co-marketing just doesn't make sense with.
Absolutely. And I think a good way to think about some of that low hanging fruit is who are the partners that you're already doing business with? So having your sales team help out on, if you look at last year's the beginning of the year, it's a great time to do some retro. Which partners were you working with last year? Were there influence deals that you can tap into? Are there joint customers that you can use as an easier way in to do a co-marketing activity? And remember that this is never like a one and done. As you enter new use cases, industries, maybe new competitors come in, it's a constant re-looking at who are you partnering with? Are they the right ones? There's partners, of course, who focus on, healthcare versus insurance. And if you move into those spaces, it's time to go through the same checklist again and start to find the right partners for that space.